I'd like to welcome Catherine Freshley from the El Toro Water District. She is one of the directors, and I know a lot of you people probably know her because you've been on the boards here. So great to have you here today, and we are talking about wastewater and sewers and things like that. And the fact that, you know, really it's one of the main parts of what the water district does. Yeah. A lot of times people don't think about that.
Well, you're absolutely right, and that's one of the reasons that I suggested this, that we talk about it, is when I talk with people, they think about how much is the water going to be, but they don't realize the cost that we have just to get rid of, to take the water, process it, and we can, in our slides here, I'll go through the whole process of what we have and how we take care of it. And here in the village, you know, all the wastewater coming from that people, when they flush the toilets and things like this, goes through the recycling plant. Right. Okay. And at the recycling plant, then we, as you know, we have been able to convert much of it to water for, you know, for irrigation and for landscaping. And the first slide kind of
illustrates that.
Kind of illustrates, you know, the sewer collection system and the recycling plant, and you know, and so we have the recycled water, which we use, you know, to serve the community, and the golf course has always used the recycled plant. See, because when the golf course was built in 1963, that's when Cortese built the plant.
Yeah. Oh, and wow. Okay. So it always had it.
It's always had it. We just improved the quality of the water, and then we have the water. You can see from the slide. You can see the recycling plant. The blue. Then we also have water that, if that has any excess we have, then is discharged to the ocean after it's been cleaned. Okay, so we have a process to get to the ocean, and there's money involved in doing that, and I'll cover it later. And then down below there, you'll see that picture on the right, which is the recycling plant, which is basically the treatment plant down in Laguna Niguel area. Right. Which is where we basically don't send any of the any liquid there. It's only the solids, and you'll see. So that's the secondary. So you got the secondary influent, you know, the ocean outfall, and then the solid handling. And so we'll go through that. Next slide. Okay. So on this one, we see you've talked about this before, as have others. The Joint Powers Authority. Right. JPAs. Yeah. And JPAs. They're interesting, a form of how the government gets, you know, different cities and things like that, like the fire authorities, the JPA. Yeah. Okay, SACWA is a JPA. We have 10 member agencies in it, and I'm on that board. They have 3 wastewater treatment plants, 2 ocean outfalls. See, and we use the Aliso Creek one. And the staff for the joint power is 64 staff, and we own capacity. See, that's what we buy capacity. We don't own the whole thing. Okay. See, so every water district has some capacity in the thing. So that's what the Joint Powers Authority does. It allows you to share. So, you know, each individual agency isn't trying to have a massive investment, because there's a lot of investment when you're treating sewers. Right. Trying the sewer stuff. So. Yeah. So you're all working together. We work together. Okay. And you can see that with it, you can see who's in it. It's listed there. South Orange County, City of Laguna Beach, Emerald Bay, El Toro. You got Irvine Ranches participating. You got Santa Margarita. You got San Clemente in it. So, you know, try to get 10 people to come to agreement on everything is not the easiest thing. Yeah, that's true. Okay, next slide. See, and so we own the capacity in the solid handling, and every day we haul by that truck, and people, if on Moulton Parkway, you'll see that truck come out about 3-4 times a day. What it's doing is it's hauling all of our solid waste that we separate from, you know, from the recovery that we have at the plant, because we don't process any of the solids. Okay. See, so we have bought capacity, you know, at SACWA to treat that, because it's all the special equipment that's required, the digesters, you got the dewatering centrifuges and everything. And the next slide will show what comes out of there is actually compost. See? And so that, you got the biosolids.
Right.
And so it's all suitable. It's been properly
For
cleaned
compost
and rich in nutrients. And so they're hauling it every day, basically, 75 tons a day.
Where does this go? Where's this, the plant or the?
The plant is down off of Vallejo. I'm trying to think of it. It's down.
It's in South Orange County, though?
It's in South Orange County. It's not very far from here. It's just, it's south about 3 or 4 miles. It's down before the city of Laguna Niguel.
All right. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sized plant. I've been through it a few times. See, so once this is, and we do sell it. I mean, we get funds from it. SACWA gets paid for it because it's usable.
Right. Wow. Well, that's good that you sort of a return on investment, so to speak.
See?
Yeah.
So from that, and this is where a lot of the cost goes into.
Right.
That's a pretty good sized plant.
Yeah.
See, now, Molten Niguel, they pretty much are the only ones putting the fluids into the plant, and so they use that. That's their recycling plant themselves.
Okay.
Okay, but we haven't bought that capacity, so we're not sharing in that cost.
All right.
Okay.
So the next one is sort of the next phase of this.
Right. It shows that. Well, what it's basically, this is, I mentioned that we have water that we've processed.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's more than we can process, and use for recycling and everything. We don't have any place to store it.
Okay.
And so this water then, and basically the rainwater and things like this, it's going to process to the ocean.
Okay.
And so we have a share. Okay, we own 7.5 million gallons per day capacity to transport that water to the ocean outfall.
Okay.
And so this is how in the industry. See, when you come together, it takes a lot. You look at the size of that pipe.
Right, right.
Okay, well, that can carry a lot.
Yes,
see?
it can.
But we share it with Irvine. See, Irvine dumps into it. So does Molten Niguel.
So they all come together.
We come together, and we own it, and we bought a certain amount of capacity in it.
Okay.
Okay. So that's how some of this financing goes. See?
And then we can see sort of the on the next slide the map, sort of what you were talking about.
Yeah, there you go. See, and so the discharge of the wastewater is at Aliso Creek Beach. It's out 1.5 miles out into the ocean. Okay. Okay, and it has the capacity for 50 million gallons a day. See, and we're only talking what were we talking to? It was 2.5 million gallons a day. So you can see there's a tremendous capacity here.
Yeah, there is.
See, and the daily discharge is about 9 million gallons a day, and we do about 2 million gallons. And actually, when it's discharged out there, and one of the key things that SACWA is very much involved in is all the sampling that is required. I mean, we're testing all the time to make sure that what we are discharging is not polluting the ocean.
Right. Yeah.
And there's certain standards, and if we're not careful, then we get fined for it. See, and so SACWA has 2 different points. You got the Aliso Creek, and then you got the one down there by San Juan Creek.
Okay.
So there's 2 different discharge points, and it's interesting when you start looking at all the testing. See, it's required. So. And
then finally, the last slide is just more getting into finances.
Well, that's right. Well, it's explaining what the cost is. I mean, it's $900,000 a year in our budget just for the operation, of all these facilities, and then we have a capital budget that every year. I mean, you got to maintain everything, so you're talking $1.5 million, right, on stuff that we try to control it, but. We've got we got the obligation with the Clean Water Act. Right, yeah. To make sure that we're not in violation of discharging any of our sewage in any of our water improperly.
Right.
And that's the big challenge.
And this all goes into the cost of.
This all goes into
the bills.
That's right.
Yeah.
and it was always been very interesting to me when I talk to people about it. They really never really thought much about it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
That's true.
And so this is where making sure that, you know, what they putting down the sewers and things like this, you don't want to dump medicine. You don't want to dump things that are going to create an issue for us to get the water.
Yeah. Well, I don't even, compared to years ago, put down much in the sink, the kitchen sink anymore, in the disposer.
I never used the disposal.
I mean, years ago that was common. You throw everything down there,
right?
And it grinds it all up and all that. So, you know, for me, I've really kind of eliminated most of that.
Well, see, one of the big issues that you have, and I know here in the village, when I was on the boards, really had struggled to make sure that we had enough money to get the sewers and have, because I always felt if we don't put enough and reline the sewers and take care of, because the village has to take care of the lines from the houses to the main line in the street.
Yeah.
El Toro takes care of the street, and we about every 3 years we're going through every one of those pipes, and we've got a special piece of equipment, and we put down a mobile thing that runs through the pipe, and we can see if it's clean, if there's any blockages or anything like this. And so that this is a big factor that really the water districts, Irvine does it. We have the facility, and we use it to let other districts. We'll provide services to them, because it's the same. It's I don't know in the village anymore whether I think they hire it out and can run sewer lines, you know, run things through the sewers.
Yeah.
But it's so key, because if those lines are not kept proper, not only do we discharge issues, but you get backups into the houses, and that's the bigger issue.
You know that about here,
I know about that part.
All right. Catherine, thank you very much for coming on. It's always
welcome.
good to have folks here from the El Toro Water District.
Well, thank you very much.
And as you said, you know, we don't often think about the sewer part of it.
That's right.
We usually think about the water coming in.
And that's usually about 40% of your bill.
Yeah, definitely. Good to see you, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really true.